Hey all, 118 Set Shadow here. So, we've got a number of things to discuss, especially after a big flow of information that we got over the weekend from one of Bushiroad's additional information in headlines where they discussed their, their timeline for 2025. So, we got a number of product announcements in addition to Set 7 that's going to be incoming next month. And one of the biggest things that they announced were master deck sets of two archetypes that were heavily supported with set 13. One of them being Drajuled and the other being Leonor. And with that, basically, they're getting full master deck sets, which includes all of their biggest support cards that came through with previous sets from the Overdress series. So Drajuled Ignis is one of the big ones, where right now this card is sitting at around $8 for its base and 9 listings, but this is getting reprinted as part of the master set. And right now, when we take a look at the spread of prices on it, it's still pretty heavily $8 with the number of copies that are available. There's a jump all the way to $18, but if we get this product confirmed for English, I would imagine that we aren't going to see too heavy of a price increase on this one. Right now, it is only for Japan. Then there's Leonor Vivus, which is also confirmed, and this one actually had the most interesting reprint, which is something I'll talk about in a little bit. But Leonor is currently sitting at $5 for its base with 23 listings on the market. During the Shoujo Doji format, this card saw a buyout, which just got a huge damper without too much time. The market price has since dropped off from that buyout from a high of 16 3 months ago to its current market price of just over $5. And in terms of availability, there are a number of copies available for around $5, which is what the market price is sitting around. Now, I was talking about how Youthberg was likely to get new support, and along with the announcement of those master deck sets, Youthberg has had a new form revealed as part of DivineZ Set 8, which will be coming out. And there were some other announcements there too, which I'm also going to discuss support cards for. But while I talked about a few support cards for Youthberg periodically throughout my last few market watches, one that I didn't really cover was one of the bigger ones, which is Revelform Full Blast. And I mean, this one was kind of a no-brainer and would be the first thing that people think of, which is why I didn't cover it in comparison to some other support cards. But to be fair, this has gotten out of hand. Revelform Full Blast is now a base price of $50, 4 listings available, and we saw a huge volume increase over the last few weeks that saw the price increase into the $30 to $40 range, and it has been selling. And with the news, we're still seeing a few sales that are going from $34 to almost $45. And the only available listings now, there are 4 listings altogether that range from $50 to $60. And then one of the cards I wanted to talk about with the Vivus Master Deck Set is that Rosarium Fairy is getting a reprint in that deck set. Rosarium Fairy is a Leonor and a Granfia support card, so it was interesting to see this one get put into that master deck set. But then again, given that this is a really big triple rare from set 12, it's a good thing they put it in there because Leonor plays it pretty heavily. $15 is the current base price on this one with 12 listings. And in terms of availability, there are only 2 around the $15 range. And then it goes up to $18 after that. Again, we still need to see if we'll actually get these master deck sets in English, but there's a pretty good chance that we will. So now into some other topics. The first thing is triggers from set 6, regular set 6, have been maintaining above $1, and leading the pack in terms of value is Star Aggression Dragon, which is the Brandgate critical trigger. This has been bought out to the point of 2 listings that start from $4.50, and the other one is actually as high as $8. As for whether or not it's been selling, we have seen an increase in terms of volume on sales recently, and we have seen a few listings sell for $4.50, but the vast majority of them have all been over $1.50 to over $2. So even though it's still very low, there's low plausibility in consistently seeing $4.50 sales, but we have been seeing them sell above $2, which is still pretty incredible. Then you have Obligatory Monster second del from set 5, which has been maintaining a over dollar rate on its rare and has 9 listings on the market. It has no reprints right now, and in terms of its volume, it's been picking up again recently, and we've been seeing it sell for close to $1.50 and even at $2 for a few of its copies. They're consolidated around $1.30 at this point. Then there's Nectar of Sensationalism, which currently has a pretty aligned price on its base listing for both the rare and the holofoil, and both of them have 9 listings available. In terms of the difference in price between all the different listings, I don't think it's much more than $1 or $2. And, I mean, we could just take a look at it right now. When we take a look at the regular one, we're looking at... Actually, it's more expensive to pick up the base one than it is to pick up the holo. But there are more copies of the base ones right now. So, you could pick up a few holofoils for cheaper than the regular rare. And I don't think you end up playing more than 2 or 3 copies of this anyways. So, I feel like buying into the holo is fine at this point. The buyout on Spiritual Body Condensation that happened a little while ago has petered out, and we have a lot of listings back on the market for all of its copies, including the SPN foil. The SPN foil alternate art, I should say, both have listings that start from 12 and go all the way to 16 there, and their market prices are around $6 a piece, going up to $7. And when it comes to all the other variants, they range from $1.50 all the way to $3, depending on which one that you want to pick up. Inlet Pulse Dragon is maintaining. This is one of those staple cards, or I should say generic cards, not staple, that for Stoicheia can see play in a variety of different decks, and compared to stuff like Brainwash Swirler, this has actually been holding its value pretty well. It's $20 to pick up the reprint from set 9. The original from set 4 is currently at a base of $15 plus, and then the SP, which comes out of there, is currently a base of $35, which has a market price of $45 right now. The other listings are pretty much in line with their market price for the base. And then you have to remember the cats from set 12. Purple Jeweled Beast Almthus is currently the big one, the front runner in terms of value, where it was usually Topaz, but I guess thanks to Odium, this one has gotten some more popularity recently. We're looking at just over $10 and 23 listings on the market, so there's still a good amount to pick up, but ultimately, we've been seeing a pretty consistent volume, although the market price has been dropping off from a high of around $15 to around $11.15. So it's still a pretty valuable card. And overall, when it comes to consolidation, there's still a number of them for just over $10 to pick up right now. With DivineZ Set 6 incoming, we also have the encounters for Vermilion and Maelstrom, so going over where their triple rares are at. Now, Vermilion comes out of set 11, has a base price of around $8 right now, and the market price has been moving up. It's now over $6.50. And we're seeing a lot of listings above $8 right now. Then Blue Storm Dragon Maelstrom, which is from set 8, has a lightly played copy at $12 for its base and has 9 listings overall. This one's market price has also been climbing from a base of $1 to over $5 as of the last few months. I do not trust this volume. Let me check here. Yep, we've been seeing a good amount of volume recently on this card, selling for $14. And in terms of its availability, most of the copies are available for around $12.50, and then they move up from there. Boxes. Destined Showdown is far down in value from the typical MSRP. They're now available for around $26, and with 8 listings on the boxes. There are a lot of boxes available with no shipping cost at that $26 rate, and the market price has dropped off pretty heavily. Unfortunately, when it comes to set 4, there just hasn't been a lot of popularity in picking up the sealed product, and even with the amount of product cracked open, we've talked about this before, there is nothing generic to pick up with this set. Everything is tied into the new destined units that came out here, and a few other support cards that supported other particular faded units and so forth. But there's nothing really generic in this set. Excuse me. In comparison, though, Dimensional Transcendence, which also saw a drop-off at some point in its history, is now seeing a rebound. This is DivineZ Set 3 and now has a base price of $45, which is just around the MSRP, I think. You can see here from the trend, the market price initially had around $35 3 months ago and just dropped off close to $30. Now we're starting to see a bit of a rebound, but we're still kind of at a loss in terms of 3 months. However, when we look at listings that are available and what's been selling, because volume has been starting to pick up a bit more, and we are seeing sales of this box at around $32. When it comes to its availability, $45 effectively, and then it just moves on up from there. Now, another thing that got announced with DivineZ Set 8 incoming is a new variant of Vladimir, which again, we don't have any specific details around, we just know that it exists, but this has caused some more shoot-ups in value, like with DivineZ Set 2 Steam Raider Zamug. This card has jumped up to $19 with 5 listings on its triple rare, and its silver rare has also been bought out to the point of $50 with 1 listing, but the market price here is still just over $15. The FFR has 4 listings on the market starting from $65, but has a market price of almost $40. One that is slowly moving up though, but hasn't seen a buyout yet, is from Set 4, Vaderock Dragon, DivineZ Set 4. And right now the price on the triple rare is still under $10 with the market price being under $7. While the silver rare has its base listing and its market price both under $10, but it still has more listings than the triple rare does. So I would watch out for just how the silver rare moves there. And the FFR only has 2 listings on the market from 75. So this one looks like it may have been bought on the news, or at least recent. Let me see what's actually been moving. Looks like it. We've actually been seeing some movement here. The more recent sales have all been $30 plus, and one actually sold for $75, surprisingly. So that is going to be rough to deal with. Then you have the Mina, which is the original Dark State Cycler for Soul. This one has dropped off in price overall. The massive hype of $40 has kind of petered out, and now we have a base listing of around $28.50. And we do have a number of copies available for $30 and under. So if you were looking to pick this up for Odium or later, you have some opportunity now. Then the final thing we're going to be talking about is Magnolia support, because DivineZ Set 8 is also bringing a brand new Magnolia into the fray. And when I think of Magnolia, the very first thing I think of is Set 7, because there is a Sylvan Horn Beast in there, and Set 7 has notoriously been very short in printing. Sylvan Horn Beast Alpin is a triple rare in the set that is currently $17 to pick up, and only has 6 listings on the market, but a market price of almost $10. The FFR is available for around $40 also with 9 listings. And the last card I'm going to talk about today is Sylvan Hornbeast Golidot. This one comes out of Set 9 and is not as heavily looked at, but it is a pretty nice contender for Magnolia support because it's basically their own variant of Inlet Pulse Dragon. It's about $3 to pick up the triple rare right now with 11 listings, and there are 11 listings on the FFR starting from about $21, so not too unaffordable when it comes to an FFR. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys later.